intro thing.
Yeah.
We're here. It's myself
Oh,
and
that's great.
Stephanie in Aquaria Life,
I gotta get
and and Jeff Kane's here. Thank you, Jeff, for showing up today.
Hey Jeff.
Anybody else in the room? It just may be all of us because I see three participants in the
Well,
um,
yeah, they'll make it.
yeah. Oh,
I'm gonna
Skipper's here. Hey, Spike. So Linda Worth, we're doing a lot. Okay, so hold on. Um, Let me just do something real quick. Well. What am I doing? So Stephanie, talk.
Okay, I'm sending a text. So what's going on, guys?
We're not
Okay.
sure where.
We're waiting on the man of the hour,
Yeah.
which is John from Surf City Cichlids.
How you doing, Andy Garcia, Linda Worth, Skipper Jones? So we were going to talk to John, Surf City Cichlids. Oh, hey, he's late. There it is. He has a message saying he's late as usual. So John will be here in a
Better
couple
late than
seconds.
never, right?
That's right. Yep. I was expecting him to be all here. That wasn't expecting having to say much on my own. So I just sent a text to somebody in chat. Check your text, please. Not you, Stephanie.
Yeah,
But
yeah, yeah.
yeah. I don't have your phone number anymore, Stephanie. By the way.
Yeah, I'll text you
No,
so you
no
have
big
it.
thing. I just
Well, we
it's
need. Yeah, it's a good thing to have though. You're that way. I don't just show up at your house to raid your fish room.
yeah,
At
yeah,
least you know when I'm coming.
yep. No depths unknown. Steph is not Surf City, even though she does live in Surf City. She is
I
not
do.
Surf City. Surf City is late.
Yeah,
So
Mr. Surf City is late.
yeah, Mr. Surf City is late. How you doing, Vinay? Vinay, I need to text you. I've been meaning to do that. So I've been meaning to do a lot of things the last couple of weeks. So how's everybody's fishes doing? How your fish doing, Steph?
Everybody's doing good. I need to switch some things around to kind of get the breeding amped up with the 204 the Flash Emperor plecos. Is that their technical name? The Flash plecos.
The one you got from me?
The Panox. Yeah, I think they're
Oh
the
yeah.
the
Well, they call
204s.
yeah 204. Yeah. I really don't know what they are because Peru they call them 210. They call them vitatas, but they're not true vitatas.
They're incredible. Like
Yeah.
they're some of my. I mean, well, I've only got two types of Panox, but they're
Yeah.
incredible. Their trailers are incredible. I really want to get them going.
So I'm
Yeah,
sending.
yeah. Jeff, I'll work on that. Jeff wants me to raid your fish room too.
Well, there's not much going on in my fish room right now. I'm trying to reduce everything. So when I go to Peru in 4 weeks, my wife doesn't have to take care of much.
Well, I'm here too, so I can help
Yeah.
Renee
Yes.
if you guys need anything.
Oh yeah. She's coming with me. Well, she's not coming with me, but she is. She will be coming to Peru, but it be like 3 weeks later because she doesn't.
Right.
She doesn't stop work until till like June 10th. That's when she retires again. So after that, she'll be there. We'll be there till 1st of September. Oh,
Yeah.
there. Hey, we have someone from a local area. Everybody, this is John from Surf City Cichlids.
Hello, Dr. Anthony, and hello, Stephanie. Hello, everyone.
Whose
I gotta
dog
mute
is that?
myself for a minute.
Oh, that's your dog, huh?
Yeah, hold on just a sec.
Okay, a yap dog. So, John, first question is,
Oh,
how'd you come up with this name, Surf City Cichlids? I mean, local people, we know why, but other people may not know what Surf City is all about.
so Surf City is the nickname of Huntington Beach, California. I live just one street over from. I'm actually in Westminster, but if I tell people I live in Westminster, they go, "What?"
Yeah, where's that? Yeah,
Sort of like Fountain Valley.
yeah, yep.
But my kids went to high school in Huntington. I grew up at the beach, living down on Main Street here in Huntington. And cichlids, I think that's probably self-explanatory. One of my loves.
So you like to eat those small gums, cichlids, right? Chiclets, gums.
Chiclet.
Yeah. And so, of the cichlids, what's your favorite cichlid?
I keep a lot of Lake Tanganyikan cichlids. I have a colony of Frontosa from MOBA right now, but I've kept Central, South American. I love them all, but my hobby's not limited to cichlids, so I may have done myself a disservice by putting cichlids. Maybe I should be Surf City Tropicals or something like that, because I have plecos and cories and
Okay.
John, how many tanks do you have?
with water in them right now.
Hello.
4, 5, 6, I think. Yeah, no, 7 with water, and then probably another 8 on standby,
Right.
waiting for more space.
And of those 6 that you do have, how large are they? Like how many gallons?
I have a 180. It's right here adjacent to me, and then behind me here, let's see, here on the bottom is a 120, and then a 50 and a 20 up on the top of that small
Nice.
stand, and then a couple of 20s that have taken up residence on the floor here right behind me as I needed space.
Yeah. Space, man. Wouldn't it be nice if we could just, create more space?
Yes.
And more tanks, right?
I long, as I see houses come up on the market and when they have 3-car garages, I go, yes, that would be just fantastic.
Yeah.
Yes. Yeah. I converted our 2-car garage into my fish room, and luckily we live in Southern California, so we don't have that really cold weather that causes our windshields to frost over. You have to get the de-icer out or something. If it wasn't for that, there was no way I would have it. I would be able to talk my wife into saying, hey, we really don't need the garage per se. It's better than having tanks all throughout the house. That's what I told her.
Yeah.
My tanks are limited right now to my office. That's this space, and you can see the rest of my hobby and nerddom is their collections of Lord of the Ring figures and books and some Hollywood memorabilia hanging on the wall back there, some autographs and such. But I try to keep it to the office so that it doesn't spill out to interfere with the rest of my family.
Yeah. I'm banished to the shed, so I'm just kidding.
I've seen your shed, Stephanie. That's a nice space.
It's tiny but mighty.
You've maximized the space. It's a great fish room.
Yeah, Vinay from Color Guppies is like, Steph, you got to do a tour. You got to do a shed tour, but then I would expose all my secrets, right? No, I'm just kidding.
Your dirty little secrets. In other words, your dirty fish room. Every time I go in the fish room, I have to, let's make sure it's clean the day before. I do all my water changes because, no one wants to see dirty tanks, but, we're all not that spotless in our water changes.
I know. And that's the thing too, is it's like, I was thinking about that the other day. I'm like, do I just want people to see this one tank and think this is how all my tanks look and how my whole shed looks all the time? And the bottom line is it doesn't. It's we're all human, and I mean, I work full time a lot, and I'm limited on how much time I have for my tanks right now, which is kind of ticking me off. And I really have to kind of figure out, either I get up a lot earlier or I go to bed a lot later, you know, because the bottom line is that work and family is always going to stay the same
Oh, yeah.
for now.
Yeah. And they're the priorities. I mean,
Right.
they have to be the priorities. Yeah.
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 Yeah. We need clean clothes. We need food. So,
Yeah.
and
You
money.
don't need, okay, food, yes, but clean clothes, come on. Kids,
True.
you know,
Yeah.
that's not that important.
Especially not for the aquarium maintenance day.
Yeah.
True.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
true. So true.
But I've done the same thing, Stephanie. My work schedule can be crazy, and so I've really chosen to do most of my maintenance between 10 p.m. and 2 in the morning. So the family goes to sleep, and then I pull out.
That's when I do it.
No.
That's when I'll like start watching Craig Catfish Cave.
Yes.
Yeah, I love him. But yeah, that's me too. And like I'll do the same thing. Like I'm up, and I'll typically start doing water changes on Sunday night, like at 9:00, and I'm going to bed Sunday like around 1 or 2.
Yep.
Anyway,
And you can get them all done in the one evening.
I could get a majority of them done. But then again, and I'm just talking the shed, like there's, God, I gotta count in my head how many are out there. 4, 5, 6. I could do 6, but they're mostly, there's 440 breeders. There's a 55. There's 540 breeders, a 55, 2 20s, and a 10. But I'm about to swap out that 10 for a 20. It's just musical fish. I mean musical tanks. I got to move stuff around. Yeah. I got to rob Peter to pay Paul with tank space. I do. I need to move stuff around to accomplish the breeding goals that I need to do.
Now you prep water, right?
I do. I'm crazy. So I psycho crazy my water now. So my water's coming out right now about 220 TDS, but it used to come out about 400. It used to be like liquid rock. Yeah. So I got, my RO, but I breed, South American fish, plecos, and I want them to have good water because, they're my kids. So I get my TDSs down to, I give them about 150 right now. And I'd have to do the API test to see what that makes my GH right now, and KH and pH. But with driftwood, Indian almond leaves and stuff like that, my pH is a little bit below 7. And one tank has been breeding, like I've gotten a couple of spawns recently. So 3 spawns recently for 236s. 1 in the 55 and 1 in another 40.
So do you prep your water on that Saturday night as well, or are you prepping it earlier?
I prep it throughout the week. Like I have, the nice old Brute trash cans. Like I'll try to keep them full. But yeah, usually I'll do it the day before. And then by the time I get around to doing the water changes the next day. Usually. Are you doing anything special with your water? And John, is your water around 220 or what's your water coming out?
No, it's about 350.
Yeah, we should actually we're all on the same water supply in Orange County.
Yep.
It's all coming from. We're all in the same water here in Orange. Why
is mine coming out 220?
I don't know. Could be your pipes. A lot of newer homes may be doing something different. Our house was built in the 70s, so they're old pipes. At least the external pipes are. We had to replace all our pipes here inside the house when we had a water leak. But the old copper pipes, old cast iron pipes, when they start corroding and stuff, they hold on or absorb a lot of the minerals. So yeah, because mine's in the 300s. coming out of my tap. So it's really bad.
And then
My house was built in '67, so.
Oh, okay. So I thought maybe you lived in one of those new condominiums. I've never been invited to your place, so I
hey, by the way, I want to do a summer barbecue here. If you guys want to come over,
let's do it.
Anyone that wants to come over for a summer barbecue, I was thinking, well, when is Peru?
May 24th.
Okay, when are you guys coming back?
Right before Labor Day.
Okay, because I was thinking sometime in June, but we could do July, we could do August.
Sure, do July. I can zoom in from Peru. I can barbecue from Peru. I can do my barbecue
You're gonna
there.
be there that long?
I'll be there for 3 months.
The whole summer?
Yeah, 3 months.
Dang.
Yeah.
I mean, dang.
Yeah.
Well, John, when are you going?
Yeah, where are you going, John?
Are you going for that long too?
You going this year? Next year? When you going? We need to sit down. My wife just asked me, "Hey, when's John coming?" I said, "I haven't talked to him about it yet."
We need to get together, and I need to have my wife join us so she can hear what the trip might be like. So,
okay.
But it definitely won't be this summer. Work is we have some big projects and some big launches going over the summer. So we'll have to schedule it out a bit. But just to set the record straight, I was not invited to Stephanie's house. I called in desperation, needing a culture of grindle worms, and Stephanie was kind enough to feed my fish when I killed my culture. So,
that's okay. I'm used to being the redheaded stepchild.
And John, were those okay, or did I over? They're good.
They're great. Still going. They're sitting right up here.
Nice. You're a fish nerd when you get excited about brindle worms.
Yeah.
Yeah, my
worms and live food.
Yeah, my Walter worms, my banana worms, all my worms have just bit the dust. The only worms that do well for me are
I still have scuds if you want scuds.
Yeah, I always need scuds. But my earthworm culture, since it's in our compost, I have millions of earthworms out there. So some of my bigger cichlids, like the chocolates that I have a big colony of 7 large chocolate cichlids with actually a breeding pair in that tank, but I just don't have the space to separate them out. They get a good dose of earthworms once a week, so they go crazy after that.
And the chocolates are in the fish room in the garage?
Yeah, in one of the 125s. Yeah.
Okay.
Right now, the only thing I have in the big tank is domestic angels and some tetras. I don't know if I'm going to redo it or, get rid of it. Who knows? It's right now it's taken a hiatus just because of me leaving for Peru. So
get rid of it? You mean the entire tank?
Yeah, there's going to be a point where we're going to have to get rid of this tank. When I retire, we'll probably be moving, and so I have to get rid of it.
That's not a small feat. That's a massive tank and a lot of custom plumbing.
It took 8 people to move just the tank, because it's a tank and stand. They actually come apart. It took us 2 hours to move it from right in front of our front door to where it is now, which is probably 30 feet, because that thing is just so heavy.
And it's deceptive. It's actually quite tall.
Yes.
It's maybe 7 feet tall.
Well, the whole thing, the whole thing is 7 feet tall. Yeah.
It's a massive tank.
Yeah.
It doesn't always appear that way on camera, but that's a big tank.
Yeah.
It's a good idea over a tank. You know, maybe I could talk Jeff into something like that.
Well, on the road. It used to be 2 125s, one in one wall, one going the other wall. And I talked to Renee. I said, if I got rid of these 2 tanks, I could just put one tank right here in the corner. You think that'd be a good idea? Yeah, just be one tank. She had no idea it was going to be a huge, massive, 500-gallon tank. I left that little bit of
Part
detail
out.
out. Yeah, I just forgot to tell her that until she
Oh,
saw
that's
me
great.
building it. Then she, what are you doing? Well, you said I could.
But Renee loves fish as well.
Oh yeah. I mean, that's how we met. She was a research volunteer for me on a research project on clownfish. So we met doing fish stuff. So yeah, and she has her saltwater tank with her, seahorses, and which will be clownfish again in a little bit. So Stephanie must have had a water float there,
No, I'm having to relocate because our my Wi-Fi is really crappy in that room. I'm like cutting in and out. I'm relocating.
So Renee used to frequent one of the local fish stores that I used to work at back when I was still in that industry.
Yep. I went to it once when we first met. I came, since I was visiting my family here in California. We came to visit her kids, and it was right before Tiz Tropicals closed. Yeah. Yep.
Definitely makes it easier when your spouse or your significant other loves the hobby as well.
Yeah. She always liked fish. They didn't have fish growing up. Her and her daughters would always go to the fish stores just to go look. But yeah, it wasn't something that was new to her when we met, and so she knew what she was getting herself into.
My wife loves fish, but she's in love with saltwater, so she continues to try to convince me to set up another saltwater tank out in the living room.
Yeah.
One of these days I'll be a good husband and do that for her.
When you had saltwater fish or a saltwater tank, what type of fish did you have?
Oh boy. So I worked in retail stores. I worked in 5 different retail stores here in the local area for about 10 years. And so I've kept everything from sharks and rays to some of the earliest reef tanks, back in the late 80s, 86, 87.
Wow, that's incredible.
And,
yeah, I would eventually love to have a saltwater tank. When I retire, maybe one day.
They're fun.
Yeah, that would be awesome. That'd be so cool.
The technology and just the knowledge in the industry has come a long way.
Yeah.
Since those early days.
Yeah.
I think in some ways they're over becoming too technological.
Technologized.
Yeah, too technologized. That's the word I was looking for, but my tongue wouldn't come up with it. It's same ways in some of these freshwater heavily planted tanks. It's not like when I just turned 63. There's no way you guys are anywhere near my age. But when I first started keeping tanks when I was 8, 9 years old, banana plants and anacharis, and maybe they had a grow light, maybe, and the plants grew okay. But now, I mean, I can't grow plants worth anything because you see these beautifully planted tanks and they have CO2, it's all monitored, and it's great. But from talking to people who do those kind of tanks, the tank looks like that for about a week, because then it starts growing out. You got to trim them back and everything. And I like my hobby to be a hobby, not a job. And in some cases, when you have a big fish room, when you have lots of fish, it becomes more than just a hobby.
Yeah.
It does.
And, when you have all these, as Skipper said, all these technical tanks, and that's a good word to also use, you're chasing parameters, and that's the worst thing to do, is chase parameters. And when people start using RO water and then they start to put powders back in to make sure everything's right. You start to chase those parameters, and it just goes crazy.
Can we talk about water for a second? Not to take the subject away from John.
Okay.
But I just want no. I just want to say something really quick though about water, because earlier we talked that I use RO. So I just cut my tap, just for those that don't know. Like, we all live in Southern California. Dr. Anthony and John, we all live like 10, 15 miles from each other.
5.
So, yeah. So our water out here is pretty hard. And like at a tap, my water used to be 400, which I think Dr. Anthony and John said that theirs is in the 300s. But, when you're keeping plecos from the Amazon and you're trying to breed them, like some people would say, don't chase your parameters. And the plecos that I keep, they're pretty easygoing. They'll probably breed in harder water. But all I do is just cut my tap with a little bit of RO. Like, I don't add in, what do you call it? What's that stuff you add in? What's the name for it? Salts or whatever. I don't add salts and stuff. Like, I don't add GH and KH and all that junk back into I'm just cutting my tap with a little bit of RO.
Yeah.
That's it.
I do 90% RO, 10% tap in
with the discus.
With the discus, but lately, because I'm not breeding them, and they do perfectly well in our tap water.
Yeah.
They may not ever breed because they are wild fish, but that's not why I have wild discus. Not necessarily to breed them. I just like them. I prefer them over some of the more domesticated varieties.
Yeah.
And so lately, I have not even been doing tap water because we have to pay for our water here, and our water bills are pretty high lately. I have the tanks that I have in my fish room, most of them are 50, 60 gallon tanks. And when you do a 50% water change,
yeah,
in 2 125s, that adds up. With RO, you're rejecting at least,
right.
It's 10 to 1, or if you're having a good system, it may be 7 to 1. So you're getting 1 gallon and 7 gallon of wasted water. And so when you do it in 125s, that's a lot of water you have to produce. So
yeah, it is.
And luckily for me, we have a swimming pool in the backyard, so all my rejection water normally goes into the swimming pool. It's not lately because of all the rain we've had, but that's normally what I would do. So it's not like that water is wasted. It's just going and replacing the evaporated water that's been out of the swimming pool.
Yeah, that's smart.
It's one of the reasons why I've spent most of my recent hobby with Tanganyika and cichlids is that I really don't have to do anything to the water, and it's not necessarily because I don't like a lot of other species. Softer water species, but it's just so easy.
Yeah.
I use the large Home Depot totes, and I do prep water, and I want it to gas. I want it to stabilize a bit. And sometimes, I'm pulling some hot water and trying to get the temperatures closer, but that's about it. Right.
Yeah.
I have a small group of L333s and a small group of L270s, and those live in the top water as well, and they're growing.
Yeah.
When they get to size, I'm going to start doing what you do, Stephanie, and starting to probably 50-50 top water and RO, so that they'll breed successfully. Now they've bred a few times, but it just hasn't been successful. The eggs don't hatch.
Yeah. I mean, and luckily now that my water's coming out like 220, and it's been coming out of the tap 220 for the last 2 years, I don't have to do that much RO, but I just like to get it around 150 if I can. And then just to get them to spawn, I mean, they're going to do their own thing. Sometimes they're going to take a break for a while. Yeah. I've had it, if you move them, sometimes they'll breed right away, and then they're going to take a long hiatus. but cold water changes, and
Yeah.
then a lot of meaty foods, and sometimes that'll get them going. Sometimes nothing at all. Who knows?
Yep.
Yeah.
No, my Corys, I have orange Venezuelans. They breed in this water very successfully. And
Really?
I'm able to rear the fry without much trouble.
Well,
Nice.
most of those are probably domestic, not wild caught. And that's when you don't have wild caught fish, it's not that important to have this pristine water like you do with the with the wild caught fish. Everybody thinks discus have to go into soft water. Well, but if you get discus from a breeder from the area who's not breeding in RO water, they're already selecting for those babies that are going to survive in the hard water.
Right.
So when you buy fish, you really need to know where they were raised to understand what kind of water parameters they need.
Exactly.
Yeah. If you go buy a fish at a pet store, they may get a number. They may get it from a number of sources.
Yeah, I think that's the single most important thing you can do is if you're really interested in a type of species of fish or a type of fish, research it. Research what they need. Know where they come from. Know the water where they come from. It's just helpful.
We have some hillbilly joining us.
No.
Listen,
damn
East
that
Coast
guy
is raiding the West Coast. All right.
There you go.
See, since Skipper went to Fishtoberfest, he thinks he's part of the crowd here now.
he is.
Yeah,
he's part of the crew.
Yeah,
That's West Coast. It counts.
Just
I always message you, Skipper, right? And I say, hey, we're not that bad. So now you're like, you're like an honorable. You're now an honorable West Coaster. You're part of the club.
What day was that? Was that the other day? I think it was. I can't remember which stream it was funny. I was like, oh, here we go.
Well, Dr. Anthony,
mess with him.
Dr. Anthony was giving you a hard time, and I was trying to talk him off the ledge. I'm like,
yeah.
He already worries about us out here enough. Don't give him more reason.
Well, my wife yells at me when I give Skipper a hard time because Skipper's such a nice guy.
I love Renee.
Wait a minute, is that an impersonation of Renee?
Yeah, it is. She's in Oregon this weekend, so I can make fun of her.
Oh,
so sweet.
She's not home. She's not listening right now.
But I see her saying that as you said that. I'm like, I see Renee saying it just like that.
Super, super sweet.
Yeah.
Yep.
Very cool.
So for back to the water topic there, Stephanie, and what do you do with your wastewater? Do you water your plants? Do you try to reuse it, or is it down the drain?
Like the RO waste or the when I'm
water.
doing water changes?
Yeah, from water changes.
Oh, I'm bad. So we have a drain right here, right outside the shed. When we bought this house 20 years ago, they had just re-hardscaped. So when we bought this house, so John, you remember El Nino? Do you remember like when we had those rains, those horrible rains, and then they designated our area like freaking it was like flood zones.
Yep.
Anyway, the people that we bought the house from, they had re-hardscaped, and they put in these drains. So anyway, I have a drain right here. So it's hard for me not to like.
Take advantage.
It would be nice. It would be nice for me to reroute it to the garden, but I don't. I don't.
We did our backyard a couple of years ago, and I made sure they put a drain in right here outside my office. I have a slider right to the backyard. Mm-hmm. I try to use most of it to water the palm trees and the rest of the small amount of Southern Californian backyard, which they're already small enough that has plants in it.
Yeah. I use mine to water our front yard, so that's
But like, what do you do? Do you get a hose and you just reroute your hose? Do you use when you do a water change? Do you use a pump?
No,
I use using gravity.
Yeah, I'm just using gravity. Yeah.
I use a pump. I have a little giant submersible.
Yeah.
No, because a lot of my tanks have gravel and sand. You know, I don't, you know, I know it's easier to have no gravel, no sand, but I just kind of like the look of it. You know, I'm not saying all my tanks are that way, but many of my tanks are. So, you know, I use the Python gravel washer to go in and
Yeah.
you know, pull up a lot of the detritus.
Yeah, I do both. So I'll do a gravel back.
Yeah.
And for that, I'm sending it right down the drain. But then that's maybe, so this 180 that's here, that's maybe 10, 15 gallons. And then the other half is the little giant. I just set it on top of a rock so it's not, you know, sucking up a bunch of sand, and I'm sending it out to my palm trees, keep them happy.
When I first started keeping fish, I would just schlep buckets like from the back part of the house to the front part of the house. I'm like, I gotta water these plants with this nitrate infested water, and then I'm like, no. Now I'm like, I'm over it. But I should.
Pumps make it easy.
Yeah, I know. I have a couple of pumps. I should definitely do that. That's smart, John. Thanks for the reminder.
You know, when I was working in the stores, I started doing maintenance on hundreds of local houses here over the years, and then I had my own maintenance and aquarium install business for a while. And a lot of the maintenance folks here, we would use a bucket. We would actually put the little giant pump in the bucket and then gravel back into the bucket, right? And then just evacuate the water out of the bucket. The pumps, they get a little hot. They'll run dry for a second, but they're not that expensive. Right? They last 5, 6, 7 years that way.
I was trying to figure out a system because I'm in a basement right now.
Oh yeah.
Excuse me. Now my upstairs tanks, I can figure that out easily. Run a hose from the fish tank down to the garden. But I want to figure, because the majority of my tanks are in the basement. So I want to figure out a good way, an easier way to get it from the basement to there instead of me carrying a 5-gallon bucket up the steps. That's another project to kind of have in my head this year also. Well,
so you don't have one of those pump things or whatever, those pump things that pumps it up?
I don't have one. No, I can get it, but it's just I have to have a collection point, right? So I would have to probably buy a 55-gallon brute trash can, but then I'm going to need caster wheels because right here is the front of the house, and then the basement doors in the back. So I would just take it over there, and then I could do it and just use a garden hose.
Yeah.
But that's something to...
Yeah, pumps are an amazing thing. I have 3 of them, and I don't know why I'm not. I guess because when I do water changes, like, I try to, like, I don't know. Do you guys ever think about, like, contamination and one tank to one tank to one tank?
Oh, well, if I know a tank is not looking good, I will make sure I either use a different hose or a different Python.
Yeah, I've got 3 different hoses.
Yeah, so I do worry about that, but that's only in those cases where I can see something going on. But
right,
I am not so anal about that. I know, at the research center we're very anal. Each tank has their own little PVC pipe that we use as put a hose on the end of the PVC pipe, and we'll use one PVC pipe per tank. But at home, I don't know that.
Yeah, I do the same thing. I just keep an eye out and make sure that at least the best to the best ability of my old eyes, looking for stress on the fish or any any infection. Then I'll definitely isolate equipment. But apart from that, I'll use the same pumps. And
for me, the only thing that I do a little bit differently is I actually have one piece of hose, and I labeled it with I have a label maker that says sick on it. So if there is a tank that is sick, that is what that hose is used for. When I do my water changes, and I use the Python to fill, but I use a hose, and I still do it in a 5-gallon bucket because I feel in my mind I'm paying attention to that tank a lot better. I'm seeing what's going on in there. If I can see something off, I can fix it real quick. So whenever I'm done with one tank, I bring it over here. I have one of these, I forget what they call these sinks. Anyways, I got a deep sink right beside me right here. I will turn the hot water on, and I'll rinse that hose off with scalding hot water between each tank. I don't do the peroxide. I don't do the bleach. But listen, that's what works for me.
Mhm.
That doesn't mean it's going to, it's what I do. I'm not saying do it,
Yeah, I'll do the same something similar. So if I just actually had a ick breakout in there's a couple of 20s on the ground here that have fry in them, and thankfully it was isolated to that. So I had a hose dedicated to it and a net dedicated to it. And then when I was done, I washed them thoroughly in hot water. I did soak the net in bleach, but after that, I think you're generally pretty safe.
Yeah. I used to do hydrogen peroxide, if I was going in between tanks. But you're right. I mean, it's like once you've been keeping fish for a while, you know which tanks are good and which tanks,
I mean,
hopefully there's not a lot that are bad, but
yeah.
I think the reality of it is that at one point, sorry, Skipper, at one point, the more tanks you have, one tank is going to have something funky that you're keeping your eye on. I mean, unless it's just me. You know what I mean? Sorry, Skipper.
No, you're fine. Sorry, I got the fish distracting me over there. I think I was thinking my Aspidoras were finally starting to breathe, but I think they faked me out.
And now I probably made you forget what you're going to say.
No, I got it now. I had this 10-gallon tank that haunted me forever. Every time I put fish in there, it was like a cursed tank. Now, I didn't want to throw away the sponge filter or the heater. So what I did do was I did a peroxide solution, and I just soaked them in it for like days. And then I would change it and then do it again, thinking in my mind that if there's a disease in there, that peroxide should kill it, right? Because I'm not really, that bleach thing, I'm not really a fan of, because if you have that, bleach can break down nets.
Yeah.
If you do too much of a high solution of it.
Absolutely.
Well, I think OSHA, and I learned this from Rachel O'Leary a long time ago. I think the OSHA standards for decontamination was 1 part bleach to 19 parts water. I'd have to look that up, and I'd have to double check it. Maybe I'll Google it really quick. But so, I mean, at least you're diluting some of that bleach, but it's still effective. But yeah, over time, your nets are gonna be affected probably.
If it was a business, I would be more diligent at trying to have a separation of all the the tanks and all the equipment that you have in each tank. But when I went to the Garden of Eaters, they have separate everything for all their tanks. Well, that's their business. That's their livelihood.
Yeah.
If you got something outbreak that you use the same, net for all your tanks, and you're taking diseases from one tank to another, you can wipe out your whole stock. And now what you're going to do, but for us normal hobbyists per se, that this is not our business. It's not as
You're right.
important, or we don't need to be as diligent. We probably should be, but we're humans. We like to be lazy. I mean, that's just the way it is. That truly,
Yeah.
It'll happen. But if we lose a tank of fish, it's terrible for us. But it's not like we're depending upon our next meal on that
True.
tank of fish.
True.
Or tank
of
whatever we have.
Yeah, my experience working in a number of stores, even there were many times the owners or the managers didn't necessarily want to maintain separate nets and separate equipment for every tank. But I'll tell you this, they absolutely did if they had very costly fish.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
Mhm.
So you would see a different practice, and it really did come down to financial implications. You have a $10,000 saltwater butterfly or angelfish.
Yeah.
That tank got special treatment.
I couldn't even imagine owning a store and having that. Like, I'd be so freaked out.
Yep.
Because if it dies, you're out 10 grand. That's a lot of freaking money.
Yep.
Yeah, and usually you're buying that type of animal, that type of fish or species for a particular customer. They've requested it, and then you're under double pressure because you have an obligation to care for it and to make sure that it's quarantined and healthy and it can go on to that person's house. And they become very diligent again with every piece of equipment and precisely who can feed it and who, logs. We're keeping logs on temperature and water conditions. So.
You would think for something like that, whenever you get into that business and there's like high dollar fish, especially if they're rare, I feel like there should be like some kind of insurance for them. I feel like there was a discussion about that a while ago, but I could be wrong.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with it.
Well, some homeowners insurance will allow you to cover pets. But it's got to be an expensive pet. I wouldn't want to use my homeowner's insurance every time a guppy dies at my house. Something like that. That your insurance rate's going to go through the roof. And for even a good breeder set of guppies that you buy for $40-$50 a trio. To use my homeowner insurance on that, they're going to be start looking at. Yeah, sure. No, I don't think so.
Well. First off, it ain't going to be. You're going to have a deductible more than likely.
That's true. That's true. Yeah.
There's no sense of.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like a $20,000 fish. You may be okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
I couldn't imagine having like a $10,000 fish.
No, I don't. No. I can't justify that.
No.
But yeah, it's crazy.
There, but there are some people.
Most of us aren't driving around Ferraris either, right? So
Very true.
There are some people with their show saltwater tanks that that's they like those type of fish. They don't know anything about fish. They have someone maintain their fish for them, but they just like the look of those.
Mm.
Yeah, Matt has a pretty good point too.
Yeah.
The person that's spending that money probably don't care in the first place.
Yeah.
It's very true.
Yeah.
Very true.
Yep.
So John, you said that you worked at a few fish stores. Did you, or you were managing them?
But different roles in different stores. Mm-hmm.
Did you find that a majority of the places were good with their practices or not kosher with their practices because of costs?
No, I was very fortunate to work for owners that were hobbyists and very interested in taking care of all of the pets, right? Whether that was a couple of the stores I worked in had more than just fish, right? Herps and small animals and such, but they thankfully I worked for great owners, and they were very diligent.
Oh, that's awesome. Okay. Do you ever go to that seaside fish place over here?
I do.
Yeah, on beach.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
What do you guys think?
It's a decent store.
There used to be another store down there that was terrible.
Okay, I'm glad you're saying it.
Yeah.
I agree.
But that's when I first moved here about 15 years ago.
Yeah.
But Seaside's pretty good now. Yeah.
So I get my frozen from them, and if you buy like in bulk, you'll get a 20% discount. Just something to think about.
I actually spoke with the owner and asked him to, because I like to feed PE mysis to the cichlids, and he wasn't willing to order it and bring it in. So
really, how long ago was that? I think he has it now because I was just there not too long ago. They actually brought in Daphnia for me, and now they keep it.
Frozen Daphnia?
Frozen Daphnia.
Well,
Very cool.
Mm-hmm. I did that a while ago, and I have since gone in multiple times, and there's always Daphnia. But I think I've seen mysis in there.
yeah, but it may not be PE mysis. There's a couple.
Oh, I don't.
Yeah.
What's the deal with PE? What does PE mean? I'm sorry, I don't know anything about the difference.
It's the brand.
Yeah.
Piscine.
Let me see.
Oh, okay, it's the brand. All right.
Yeah. So it's
You talking about Pristine Energetics?
yeah, it's a freshwater mysis species lake in Canada. It's just very nutritious, fatty. And when I'm trying to get the cichlids ready to breed, I start cranking up the intake, and it's been pretty successful.
Well, have you ever heard? Can you get it elsewhere out there, or are you still trying to look for it?
Yeah, there's another store out here that I visit, and they the largest commercial package they make is, I think, 40 ounces, and you just don't find it in most stores. But I go to this other store close to Dr. Anthony's house in Fountain Valley, and they'll bring in 4 or 5 packages of it at a time. So to my wife's chagrin, I'll stock up one of the freezer compartments with packages of mysis.
Hopefully that's the only thing you buy at that store.
Is that Tongs?
I'm not naming stores.
All right.
Say if you ever can't find it, I always like whenever I go to get frozen baby brine shrimp, we have 2 Petcos. There's only one. The smaller one for some reason carries it, but the bigger one doesn't. I don't get that, but whatever. If I can't find it there, I always go to kensfish.com, and that's where I found that name for that mice. And he has it, but he's out. They don't have the 40-ounce flats.
That's a good tip, though. I'll put them in my bookmarks.
Yeah, but shipping costs sometimes gets you when it comes to frozen food, because it has to be overnight shipping. A lot of them would do dry ice, which is an extra cost.
Ken's Fish does dry ice.
Okay.
And every time when it's shipped to you, it's in a styrofoam cooler and it's still frozen.
Okay.
Yeah, but that's why, like, because the cost for shipping, like, I've analyzed the 2 different ways to do it, and it's just cheaper to go local to get frozen if they have it.
Well, yeah, if they have it, but saying,
if they don't, if you're desperate,
if there's for some reason that you go there and like they're like, we can't get this. We've been trying to get it for months, and you need it because you're getting close to running out.
Yep.
That's why.
Or maybe it's more convenient too. I mean, maybe someone doesn't want to roll to a fish store to. I mean, listen, I get Amazon Fresh every 10 days at my house.
Yeah.
It's also an excuse to get down to the local fish store and walk the aisle.
See what they have. Yeah.
Yeah.
Not a bad thing. And I do try to, generally every time I walk into a local fish store, I will buy something.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Just try to support them. So
yes.
I may choose not to buy a live fish from every store, but whatever.
Yeah.
Nets, airline tubing, some dry food, frozen food.
Yeah.
Got to keep the LFSs going.
Yeah, we got one, and she's been doing it. I started whenever I was a teenager, and so she's been running this place since I started going there 30 plus years. She was doing it before that, and she is still in. Like, she lives there. It's part of their house. Like it's in town, and it has like 2 halves. You know what I mean? So one half's the store, and the other half is where they live. And she has fish tanks and everything. Because one time I was going there quite a bit, I got to go see her personal fish tanks, and they were just awesome.
Oh, that's cool.
She had the wonderful 33 longs.
She's a hobbyist store owner.
Yes,
it's the best type.
And she actually will quarantine her fish when she gets them in before she puts them up for sale.
Yeah. How many of you quarantine fish when you buy them? Seriously. Oh, no.
I'm bad about it. I'm
Oh,
bad
no.
about it, but I got screwed not too long ago. I got some fish, well, probably about a year ago, and I didn't quarantine, and it jacked my whole tank up. I'm not gonna say where I got them, but
Okay, you can say you got them from me. That's okay.
wasn't from you. Wasn't from
Oh,
you. And I didn't quarantine your fish.
Yeah.
And but yeah, I got them. I screwed myself because since then that tank has never been right.
Yeah. I don't bring in fish that often. You know, if I put something in my wild discus tank, you better believe they've been in a separate tank for a while. But like this big tank here, where it's not a fancy tank. I'll put fish in there that I get at the auctions. Just throw them right in, which is probably some people say the worst, but if there's only 5 angelfish in there really, so it's nothing spectacular. And if I buy fish, and who's that? Is your daughter?
Sorry, that's my daughter Megan. We love
Oh,
you.
hi Megan.
Love you.
God, they
Love
look
you.
like twins.
Love you.
Yeah.
They're coming in from the beach.
Oh,
Sorry.
yes, it's nice and warm here in SoCal, so it's a beach day.
I know.
Except if
we've
you go
had
to
some good
Long
weather.
Beach, where they have the big sewage spill into the ocean, so no swimming near Long Beach.
No Long Beach.
Oh my!
That's very common here, there, Skipper.
Like when it rains, you're not
When it
supposed
rains,
to get in the
since
water.
all the gutter water goes into the ocean, you can't swim in the ocean for a couple days.
Massive algae blooms and.
Wow.
Yeah.
Like stay away.
But Dr.
Megan.
Anthony, I bring oftentimes I will buy wild Tanganyikan cichlids.
Mhm.
Probably all but one of the species I have right now is wild caught, and so those definitely need to be quarantined. I actually use the same totes that I use for water changes. They're black, and I think the fish are just far less stressed too.
Yeah.
Being in a dark area.
I like that because I never even thought of something like that. Me, no. But honestly, it does depend on where I get it. I did end up setting up a 10-gallon, and that was because I got this bush fish, right?
Mm-hmm.
And whenever I received it, there was no water in the bag.
Oh wow!
Well, it lived. It's in my 55 now, and it's doing great. Come to find out, it's what, an antibantoid. Did I say it right?
Yep, you did.
So, okay, its skin or whatever, scales and everything were still wet, so it was fine. But I set that 10-gallon up, and then I did start doing it. It all depended upon where I got it.
But isn't that the worst feeling when you have a shipment come in and you open it up and you see a bag like that? All the water's gone.
Yeah.
Fish. No, it's just the worst feeling.
It was a fish fan member, and it was not their fault. When I got that box was beat the hell and back because they just threw it.
That's
So-
terrible.
And the bushfish has, spines,
Yeah.
on its dorsal fin, and it courses, and it was even, double bagged. So it wasn't nothing that the shipper did. It was the people shipping it, bringing it to my house.
Yeah.
But yeah, that I was like, "What's that noise?" I said, "Well, the box is wet." I was like, "What is that noise?" Holy hell, that's a fish flapping in there. And I hurried up. I had a gallon container. I dipped water right out of my 55, and I threw it in, and I kept them in there. I covered it up a little bit,
Yeah.
and I put an air stone in there, and it bounced right back. And I put it in that 10-gallon.
Oh, that's awesome, Skipper.
Yeah, I got lucky. It must have just happened when it was in Pennsylvania. You know what I mean? But it's a pretty cool fish too. I'm glad I got it.
So, John, you may go to Peru not this summer, but next summer, possibly.
Yeah. Like I said, work is just too busy right now. So this summer definitely is a definite no. But yeah, sometime I need to hear from the expert. What the best options are. So I'll try to work my time off around the best time to be down in Peru.
Best time is our summers. Normally, that's the best time.
So what is the weather like there in our summers? We were talking about it the other day. Someone was
Normally,
talking about
it is hot. So maybe up to 100 degrees, maybe. Probably you want it to be overcast because when there's no clouds, it's really, really hot and humid. So it's going to be 100% humidity all the time. And if you do get a temperature dip at night, you will get nighttime showers. But every time I go, it stops raining. When I went in March, they had torrential storm for the 2 or 3 weeks before I got there, and the 9 days I was there in March, no rain whatsoever. Well, one night of rain, and the rest was dry. So
well, there it is. I just have to plan my travel around yours.
Yeah.
So it'll likely be next summer, right? If that's the best time to be in Peru, and this summer doesn't work for me, then next it is.
Yep. Like we said, you had up until September of next year to do the ticket because we do the raffle every spring. We know for some people who actually work for a living that it may be difficult for them to get off in such a short period of time. So for some people they have to put in the vacation time at the start of the year for the entire year. And so we're willing to do that. So raffle will be every March. Hopefully we'll have a raffle every March there, Jeff. Ed says you can always just, hand the winning over to somebody and they'll pay you your $50 or how many tickets you bought. You can just apply it to next year's raffle.
Hand it off.
Yeah. Or sell it off to somebody for,
No, I'm
$500 or something.
I'm coming to visit. I'm coming to get dirty, and I'm coming to catch fish. So.
Okay. That seems good.
And to work.
Yep.
Oh, well, Vinoski says that Gary Lang is visiting Coast next month.
Oh, very cool.
He'll be here next, the first weekend of April. He'll be here. Yep.
Oh, whenever I got to see him at the Clash in 21, that's talk that he does it. Where did they go? It wasn't Peru. Anyways, I forget where they went. I mean, it was just amazing. But they got so much rain, the trucks were getting stuck in the mud going up the hill. He's a good speaker.
Yeah, they've been having some good speakers at Coast lately. So this speaker coordinator is doing a much better job. Local. Mostly we have been having local speakers even before COVID. A lot of local speakers. So they're doing a good job.
Thank you, Jason.
Awesome.
It was Indonesia. That's right.
And Jeff, I was thinking the same thing, right? Like if the next raffle winner is going to go next summer, then maybe it'll be a larger fish fan trip down to
Well, it's always a possibility. That's for sure.
Now, how many rooms / beds do you have in the dorms there?
We have 4 dorm rooms. They can be either double or triple occupancy. Our next phase is to build the second floor of the dormitories, and that may be, by next summer that may be done. It just depends on a lot of things here. But yeah, we early on we decided, are we going to complete the dormitories, do the second floor, or build the public aquarium? And we decided to build a public aquarium just to get a little bit of revenue for the research center, because we're going to have to be hiring some more people to help work in the aquarium. So we decided, we never knew that COVID was going to hit. That put everything off, 3-4 years. So that's the way. So yeah, you would all have to bunk in the same room, 4 or 5 people in the same room, or we can set up a tent outside.
Perfect.
You can sleep in one of the offices or the lab or in the aquarium, every night. You can, observe fish all night long.
Sleeping bag on the floor next to the fish wouldn't be
Yep.
bad.
Yep.
Bless you, Skipper.
I wouldn't do that. Want
Why
that
wouldn't you do that?
I would do that in a heartbeat.
We're talking
Well,
about Peru, and their
we're-
doors are open all the time, aren't they?
No, not in the public aquarium. No.
It's
It wouldn't surprise me
fine.
with you, dog.
It's
You said-
fine.
No.
Then I would do it. If it's in closed space, yeah, I'd do it.
It's enclosed. It's, air conditioner. It's got everything.
They got mosquitoes the size of jet planes down there. You know what I'm saying? I would the same.
They don't
Each
like
your
me.
life.
They don't like me. I'm too sour, I guess.
They love my wife. They don't like me. They love my wife.
Yeah. That's all good with me.
Yep.
Yeah, why is that? Do we know the answer to that? Why do mosquitoes like certain people and not
The
others?
blood type.
That's what I thought, but I don't know.
I don't know either. It could be
I
what you
heard
eat
that.
too. If you eat a lot of garlic. Garlic has a lot the chemicals in garlic when they break down. It comes out in your sweat, and mosquitoes don't like that.
Yeah, I do cook with a lot of garlic. With a lot of garlic. Maybe that's it.
Well, it helps for me because I'm a ginger and I don't have a soul, so they can't suck the soul
Oh,
out.
come on now.
Oh, that's
I
great.
told that once. You're blue-eyed ginger. You're soulless. I said, thank you.
Appreciate that.
Oh, Skipper, that's awesome.
So, Dr. Anthony, any news on the delivery of the fiberglass tanks?
Supposed to be there May 2nd, or it's supposed to be in Peru on May 2nd.
Excellent.
And then probably take another week to get to Iquitos from Lima. So hopefully by the second weekend of May, we'll start putting them in. We have to, pipe them all in, drill the holes on the fiberglass, because if they would have drilled the holes for us, that would have been another $4,000 or $5,000 just to
Right.
drill holes. And the fiberglass is really easy to drill through, they said. So, we'll just use our hole saws, and we have some diamond bladed hole saws that we use for the plexiglass and things. So hopefully by June 1st, everything will be up and running, and then we'll have the tanks be cycled before we open the aquarium up in mid to late July.
Quick question. Are these tanks already put together, or are these just the sides and you have to construct
No,
them?
they're all put together, and all we have to do, because we already have the glass, we didn't order them with glass. All we have to do is silicone the glass on the inside.
Nice.
Yeah. So these are there's a company that's been advertising on Facebook lately to a lot of people, and they build the same type of tanks.
That's awesome.
They're reinforced with iron all around them, so hopefully we won't have problems with them. Hopefully, but
Now, what are the dimensions on the largest tank you ordered?
the largest tank we ordered was 12 feet long, 3 feet wide, and 3 feet tall.
Wow.
And that one we actually had them brace a center brace in it, so it's 2 pieces of glass, because we couldn't get glass that large in Peru. And I didn't feel like ordering glass or plexi again from some other source and take it 3 months to get there and be all either chipped or scratched. The big acrylic panel that we got 2 years ago, the 20-foot wide one, that was all scratched up. So we've had to buff that out, and we tried to do it ourselves, and I didn't know what we were doing. And so when I had them buff it really hard with hard strokes. Well, no, with acrylic, you just do it very light strokes to buff out the scratches. But, no one ever told me that. So after we did it for a month, we still couldn't get it nice and clear. So we just hired some people there in Peru who said they knew what to do. And so they actually did a pretty good job.
So that's about an 800-gallon
Yeah.
aquarium or so. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's a lot of water.
Yeah. Most of them are, we have 2 that are 3 by 3 by 3, meter by a meter by a meter. Then the other ones will be 2 meters by 1 meter, 1 meter. So they're pretty well standardized, the big tanks that we ordered. Except we do have a pelidarium that's coming that's 8 feet tall, 3 by 3. And that'll only be half water. That'll be at, the river's edge where we have splash tetras, other smaller fish that you tend to find at the marginal spaces of the rivers or the backwaters.
That's very exciting, and it's good timing too, since you'll be down there. It sounds like you'll be landing right after the tanks are supposed to.
Yeah.
So,
and I actually was supposed to go to Indonesia to give a talk this summer. And it was already confirmed, and I was about ready to buy the ticket to go. And then we got the news from China that they delayed shipping for a month. And so that delayed our opening, and we're going to open at the same time as this conference is going to be. So I'm going to give a talk, but it's going to be a pre-recorded talk, and I don't get to fly to Indonesia. So, I would have liked to fly to Indonesia. So, got to take the good with the bad. So,
weren't you recently in Indonesia?
no,
Did you take some students? Where'd you take the students?
I took some students to Moorea, which is in French Polynesia.
French Polynesia,
Right. It's a smaller island right next to Tahiti. Yep. For 12 days we were there. I don't recommend that.
12 days or the trip period?
12, 18, and 19-year-olds.
Oh. Yeah.
I would just drink heavily throughout that time.
No drinking. And I picked Moorea because it's the smaller island. It's not a party island. It's not an island that had a lot of bars. And so
You could have had your own party in your head.
yeah, I had my own party in my head.
I'm just
It's a pity party every night.
Oh, sorry. It's
I
just
could've
that
did that.
I have teenagers, so our oldest
Yes.
is 21, but that's why I was like, because Megan was just saying stuff that you guys didn't need to hear.
I never raised teenagers, so when Renee and I were married, our kids were already grown up, so never had the opportunity for that time. So
Yeah, my youngest is 20. My oldest is 27. So our teenage years are behind us.
yeah, and Skipper is getting there.
Yeah, my oldest, she's 13. He'll be 14. Thanks.
Here
Just
comes.
you wait.
Here
Just
comes.
wait. It gets better.
Yeah,
Skipper.
the heavy fist of Skipper.
No. I don't
Skipper's used to dealing with those inmates, so I think he probably won't be able to handle his son though.
No,
he's
we were-
scared to death of me. I'm good.
Okay.
Hey, I was scared to death of my dad, and it kept me out of jail. That's all I'm saying.
I was afraid of my father.
I'm
That's
just,
why,
I'm just on the other side of the bars.
It's okay to
It's
be
not
afraid
so,
of your
it's
father.
not so bad. I don't know. All of our kids were fantastic. All of the normal teenage nightmare stories you hear. I think everyone's just trying to prepare the parents for the worst, but it's actually fun.
You're right. I mean, for
There-
the
there's-
most part, she's pretty good.
I'm going to tell you,
Here comes.
my brother lived up to them horror stories, okay? I was the oldest, so I got to sit back and watch it all. And some of them, it happens. Maybe not to everybody, but it does happen. Oh, my God, I felt so bad for my parents.
Oh boy.
I'm glad it wasn't me. That's all I got to say.
How much younger is your brother, Skipper?
Only a year and a half.
All right.
And then my youngest brother is like 6, I think. Yeah,
He's 6 years old now. Wow, that's a
6
big.
years younger.
Oh, okay.
Listen, if I had a 6-year-old brother, that'd be a miracle. I'm just saying.
Oh man.
So Jeff wants to know, you bringing back fish, John, when you go to Peru?
Yeah, I plan on it. Although I have to again talk to the man who knows. I hear that there's some logistics and details that need to be lined up.
You better talk to Fernando then.
Yeah, Fernando. Talk to Fernando. He's,
He'll help.
He'll say he'll help. Right, Fernando? You still here, Fernando? I don't even know if Fernando's still here.
Fernando was on earlier?
Yeah, he was on earlier. Yeah.
Oh, excellent.
Yeah. He
Wanted
tends
to see what kind of trouble was coming?
Yep. He wanted to know, who's this guy who's supposed to
who's
come. Oh, there's Fernando right there. Okay, Fernando.
Hey, Fernando.
Yep.
Hello.
You killing my fish, Fernando? Huh? Fernando, him and his cousin, they forget to turn water off a lot of times.
Oh my God, I flooded the kitchen not too long ago, twice, and the shed. But at least it's outside, and at least our flooring is this vinyl stuff that I love.
Yeah. That's why my wife insisted when we moved into this house that we have ceramic tiles.
Mm-hmm.
We had carpet, wall-to-wall carpet in Texas, and no matter how hard I try, I just
it happens.
Yeah, no,
yeah,
I did. I flooded it. I flooded because when I first started keeping fish, luckily, like at that time, my husband just let me put some tanks in the bedroom. There were 40 breeders, but yeah, I flooded the place. I flooded the bedroom a couple times, and then we got vinyl, thank God, but it still happens.
Yep.
And that's the worst when it's your bedroom, right?
Yep. So
the mistakes I've made.
One of the stores I worked at, it was a large store, like 25,000 square feet, and we had a big centralized sump, this massive sump for the freshwater system. And the previous night, I was working a morning shift. The previous night, the young aquatics person that was supposed to top it off forgot to shut off the fill.
Oh God!
And so it was. I've never seen that much water on the floor. Just this entire massive store, and there was double automatic front doors, and the whole parking lot is just flooded. Just oh no, it was a disaster. Stephanie, it's that store that's on Warner and Springdale.
Warner and Springdale.
I got to think about it.
Me too.
Yeah, you take a left at the tree and a right at the car.
Yeah.
It was a really neat chain. I think there were 5 stores. They were as big as the big box stores, but really focused on hobbyists. So
okay,
it was really cool.
Oh, this is a number of years ago.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
Early 90s.
Oh, okay.
It's still there. Just it's a Petco now.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
Oh, okay.
No, I've been ordering fish online for so many years because I've, gone into a couple of not so great places, and I just got, tetrified. So I just started buying stuff online from Dan the man, Dan's Fish. No, and
Hey, we don't advertise anybody. That's one thing I don't do on my channel.
Are you am I in trouble?
No.
No, so I've been ordering fish online for a long time, but
yeah.
I need to go. Oh, okay. Okay, I see that fish store now, John.
Yeah.
I have to say that was the worst thing I discovered.
What? Online? Yeah.
I know, right?
Yeah. The majority of these fish, they got mailed here.
Yep.
It's like Amazon, right? Packages just keep coming and keep coming and keep coming. Just full of
I got yelled at one time. I had to slow down. It was getting bad. When you set up a fish rack and there's empty tanks, you got to put something in it.
I know.
I'm
It's
with you,
true.
Skipper. 100% agree.
It's true. It's like you want this, you want that. But luckily, I'm kind of limited right now. I'm maxed out on tanks and space and stuff
Stephanie,
that can't go with that fish. And
I've
Yeah.
seen your backyard. So here's the secret. Stephanie has got this one section of her backyard that is like amazing. It literally looks like it's prepared for a large
like
container.
a big shed.
Yes. And there's what is it RV parking or something like that?
It's RV parking. So the people that we bought the house from 20 years ago, it's RV parking, but it's like at an incline. But I think I could get a shed in there. I mean, I could bring in some guys to flatten it all out.
That space is crying for a new fish room.
I know. I got to check it out really quick. I got to look
You
at
don't
it.
want me to come over and visit you because I'll tell you how to do it exactly. And then
I would say, my view would just put a couple shims. That's all you need.
Right?
That's great.
just leave it at a pitch. It'll help the water changes.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay.
well, yeah, I mean, if you let it on, it's just going to go right out the front door.
That's right.
You got to
Yeah.
look at that space.
See, it's right. It's right back here.
And it's already concrete.
It
Yeah.
is ready.
Concreted.
It is ready.
That
And it's
pitch ain't that bad.
It's got to be like
I
5 by 10.
Wait a minute. You said an RV was parked there? You need to put a level on that. If
You're
you
not
put a
seeing the
level-
whole thing, and if I go too far, I'm going to lose connection.
I think you'd be surprised. You put
Hold on, let me
an
flip
actual
this.
level on it, you might be surprised how level it actually is.
Let me flip the camera. All right, so this is. If I lose you guys, it's Skipper's fault. I mean, and we got chairs back there, but this is it. And this is my block wall.
Oh, I see it now.
So you can see the slope, right?
Barely.
But I know we gotta fix it. But yeah, I think that would be a better place for a shed.
Well, that and there's an alley right there.
Yeah, well, so we're on a corner.
That's
So I might
even
lose you
better.
guys. So this is the
That's-
side of the house. But
Listen,
oh, sorry. Oh, that's my kid. Megan, where are you going?
so that's funny. So that's even better because you can get a prefab shed brought in. They can back it right in there and set her down.
Yeah, I know.
If you think about
Yeah,
this,
so
all of those shipments you were talking about, Skipper, they can just pull up right to that
Yeah.
gate, drop the fish right in the room.
but
It'll
this part right here is not as sloped. It's down by the gate that is only half painted that is more sloped.
Well, that could just be the entrance.
But yeah, a couple of shims will do it,
Yep.
like Dr. Anthony said.
Well, you'd be surprised how they level them.
That's funny.
See, that's what happens.
Yeah, we need to have a barbecue. You guys
Yeah,
are all welcome.
fellow fish addicts, Stephanie, they get you in trouble.
Yeah.
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 We need to do a barbecue. You guys are
Let's
all
do it.
welcome.
Let's
Whoever
do it.
wants to come. Vanoski, you're in California.
Where's
Oh.
Vanoski at?
I don't think he's that far. I forget where he said.
I know Aquaballs is in LA.
Oh,
There
it's,
Yeah.
you know,
There is a slight
No,
possibility.
George. George. I gotta ask George to come.
Listen, just hire him as a chef. I mean,
Yeah, I know. I might just get whatever he wants to cook and just get it all laid out for him.
he's a nice guy. He would do it.
I love George.
So there is a possibility. I can't really say if it's confirmed yet or not. That next year I may be coming to California.
that would be awesome.
Yes,
Out you
Skipper.
guys' way.
For what?
Disneyland.
No, oh hell no.
I'm just kidding.
Family, work?
No, it will be with my kids because there's something that's out there that's getting built, and it's a theme park.
Okay.
And then she said about wanting to go to Disneyland. If that happens, I'm knocking on somebody's door. That's just all there is to it. Because
You can stay here.
We're all 5-10 miles from Disneyland. Believe it or not, we can hear from my house. I can hear, and I'm sure they can, Disneyland fireworks every night at 8:35.
9:40.
Well, it's 9:40 now because of the time change. But yeah, every night we can hear that. Yeah.
Oh, Skipper, that'd be awesome. If you're making it out here, definitely got to get together.
Well, make sure you tell me when you're coming, so I'll be sure I'll be out of town.
George is in here.
George is in here. Yep.
Yeah, George, we're gonna kidnap you and Marie for a barbecue. We're gonna come and get you.
So, Skipper, would this be in the summer, the fall? I mean,
I'm not sure yet.
A theme park. I don't know of any.
It all depends on her schedule because she works a lot in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
So it'd probably be maybe spring or something like that.
Spring is the best time here.
Yeah.
You get some cool breezes and 75-degree, beautiful sunny days.
Your kids' spring break.
Yeah. Oh, that would be awesome, Skipper. Would look forward to meeting you out here.
I mean, I never had a reason to come to California until I started meeting people like you guys on Fish Fan. And I was like, well, all right, that's a good enough reason. But I just never did. I'm one of the people that, I just stayed where I'm at. You know what I mean? But then whenever I got into the military, I started venturing out. So I was like, man, why do I need to go to the West Coast? Well, now I got a reason.
I know what you mean, Scott. I was actually born here. I'm a Southern California native. My mom was born here. I actually, this house I'm in is my childhood home. So I know all about staying where you're from. So
Yeah.
I can understand that.
Yeah, I mean, I was stationed in South Dakota. I came back. So.
Well,
Home is home.
South Dakota's a little cold.
Oh, yeah.
Filled with.
Pennsylvania was bad until I went out there. Holy cow.
Yep.
I'll be back.
Where's it snow in May? That's like crazy. And then it's 70. Well, I don't even know why I'm telling you guys this, but it was like 70-some degrees on Christmas. I was like, that ain't right.
Yeah, that's normal for us.
I know. Not for us mountain folk out this way.
Nope.
My first trip to Pennsylvania was for work, and we had an office in King of Prussia. Went out in August. I was not prepared for August weather there. The rain,
Ooh.
The humidity. Yeah. I
It's
started early, went into the office, came out for lunch, and I what is this? What is this rain in August? Yeah, but beautiful country.
I had a good friend of mine from Sacramento. I met him out in South Dakota. We was in the same shop and everything. And he asked what Pennsylvania was like. I started showing him pictures. He goes, that's so pretty.
It's beautiful.
This is the Four Seasons out here in the Appalachians. It's pretty nice. It's nice. And then I got a chance to go to Colorado. I thought the Appalachians was a mountain. This is a hill.
Yeah.
I was at the Air Force Academy. I went and visited it because it wasn't far from Rapid City, South Dakota. I was like, oh, man. Oh, my. I couldn't believe it. It was just amazing. So it is nice to get out and venture a little bit. You get to see some pretty nice things.
Did you take the road up to the top of Pikes Peak there?
No, I just went there, and then we shot down to Denver, and then we went back up.
It's beautiful, beautiful country. So your friend in Sacramento, if you go just east a bit from Sacramento, you have the Sierra Nevadas, 14,000-foot mountains in California.
Is that where that y'all were getting all that snow?
No, we're getting around us too.
It was really close. It's like maybe 45 minutes to an hour from us.
Big
So
Bear.
what's going? I'm really
the base of the
curious
mountains.
to see I'm sure it already started melting, I'd imagine.
I was just there last weekend, actually, up in Big Bear, which is I guess maybe the most popular Southern California ski resort, and there is snow all over the place.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Didn't they get like 12 foot of snow accumulation? Not all at once, but it was like up to their roofs.
Yeah, in some places they shut down one little city. They couldn't even get out of their houses.
Yeah, they were having a hard time getting food
Yeah.
to the residents. Yeah.
Yeah. You know, 'cause we don't get that very often, so we're really not prepared for things like that.
Yeah, this was an unusually rainy season.
I was told the lake, Big Bear Lake itself, had a 3.5 foot increase in the water level
Wow.
this winter,
I believe it.
which is
I
good.
Yeah.
Right? We
It's-
need it in Southern California.
Yeah, we needed it.
Every time I hear that door, I think it's my basement door. It's driving me nuts.
Sorry, it's
But,
my kid
No,
in
you're
and out.
fine. Because originally I thought that's what it was when I first heard. I was waiting for a kid to come down the steps.
Mm.
But I was. This is how dumb I am. I was like, "Oh man, it's going to be great for Lake Mead." And then I pulled up Google Maps, and I ain't going to touch Lake Mead. All that water runoff.
Well, but like me, they did get a lot of rain though in Vegas and around surrounding areas. So from us, it goes straight to there. So
But the Colorado River feeds it, right? Doesn't it?
no,
Me?
upper Colorado does. Yeah. No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'd have to check it out. I can't remember. I think it does. Yeah, it does.
Of Colorado.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the lake part, but
Yeah.
the river feeds into it. But yeah,
Yeah.
it's that unfortunately with the drought is just dropped the water line so much over the
Mhm.
last 10 years.
Yep.
I mean, when you go through the canyons, you can see where the water used to be. It's so sad. But maybe, I don't know. I don't know if Nevada, Arizona got better or more rain because of, I don't
I
know.
mean,
They
all the myths were true about the mafia. They found them barrels. You know what I'm saying?
Isn't that a trip?
Wow.
Dead bodies start showing up.
There you go. Bunny says, hi, Bunny, that she has a piece of driftwood from the top of Pikes Peak. That's really cool.
Oh, that's cool.
That's really cool.
Yeah, it's neat.
Especially since it came from Dad.
Yeah.
Well, boys and girls, anything else?
It was fun.
Thanks for having me up on the stream there, Dr. Anthony.
No problem.
Definitely
No
pleasure
problem.
to see you. And Skipper, great to be able to join you on the stream. Good to meet you.
It is nice to meet you too, bud.
All right, everyone.
Everybody, have a good weekend, good Saturdays, good Sunday. Have a good week.
Bye, y'all.
See you on Wednesday. Bye.
Bye.